there is another dimension, beyond that which is knowledge of man. It is a dimension as vast as space, and as limitless as infinity. It is a blackness between the sun and the moon, between science and superstition, and it lies between all of man's fears and the summit of his ability. This is the space of imagination. It is an area which we call the Sci-fi Zone. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sci-fi Zone. It has been a while. Happy to return, and I think I picked up a pretty good movie for us to watch, returning back to the Sci-fi Zone. This is going to be a fan favorite for some of you, I think. I mean, it's just as if someone had smashed in Star Wars, Star Trek, everything you can think of related to stars and outer space into this little movie. Definitely a big movie for Trekkie fans out there. There's a lot of characters to this, and I feel it was highly inspired by Star Trek, clearly. Hold on to your seat, chart a path for warp speed epic that is Star Warrior. Directed by Mark Dowie. It is a movie with a massive amount of stuff smashed into it, to the point where it's like convoluted and really hard to follow and understand what the heck is going on. And with a classic, science fiction story like this, you often have an opening scrolling text to explain and set up the world, which they do in this, but it's kind of a detriment because I feel like when you have paragraph after paragraph after paragraph like this to set up this complicated, convoluted story, the audience is going to get lost. So what I'm going to do is kind of paraphrase this and explain it to you the best I can to help set up the story, because I feel like if I just let you play out what the scrolling text was, you'll have no idea. So let me break down the basics for you and set this thing up for you, all right? We have a race of beings called the Mendelans, who gave humans advanced organic technology. But the Bolchans destroyed all of it, and they brought terror and wiped out most of the human race. In part, enslaving anybody who stood in their way. But luckily, a small batch of humans that went another way are living on this isolated planet. And this is kind of where our story sets up. Aciris, who is our main character, we get to view him through the eyes of a childlike setup, where we are learning about how to hunt in the woods from his father, how to survive on this planet. Seems a lot like Earth in a lot of ways. Yeah, it's something. So he's learning from his dad how to hunt. The guy who plays dad has a really weird voice. I don't know if he's trying to do an accent or something, but it's strange. Truly amazing. Better yet, listen to the dialogue in this scene, because this is kind of going to give you a taste of what to expect going forward.
Only if you're calm will you have the clarity of mind to hit the target. That is where our forefathers of the planet Earth went wrong. Blinded by the vanity of the technology they devised, they allowed their vanity to blind them from the truth of what they really wanted to achieve. A simple, harmonious life.
So we're on this planet. The planet is getting attacked, and the kids are running around in sweet sneakers. And let me tell you, these kids clean house. Like, they know how to take care of themselves. Lots of running around the woods, lots of lasers shooting back and forth. Kind of what to expect for the rest of the movie, frankly. There are these kinds of scenarios playing out. So the kids get caught, and they get beamed up. They're sent to this like mining place where they have to dig in rock. And apparently this is what they've been doing their whole lives. And I think the line was, "He went in a boy and came out a man."
He went in a boy and came out a man.
Yeah, this movie is something. So this is really where the movie finally starts. We're with our main character. He's now a grown adult. He is enslaved, and he is enslaved with other humans on this like mining colony. So this is just like the movie Running Man. They're on this like mining encampment. There's a guy set up with like a box, and they have these things in their neck that will explode and kill them if they run past a certain point. Very classic reference to the Running Man. In fact, it's just the scene from the Running Man. So you'll probably catch a lot of that in this movie, yeah. But interesting enough, this is where we kind of get a setup for what the acting is going to be going forward, which is not really great, and what the dialogue and writing is going to be like going forward, which again is not very great.
So, this is him, is it?
It is Devalia. This is the boy that stood up to Akunte and nearly won.
I thought we weren't going to invite anyone else to this council.
That is what we decided.
You know, we're basically almost at the 30-minute mark going in with these guys on this planet, and we kind of get the story. It just feels like to me that this guy wrote all this different stuff and smashed it into this movie, when in fact this could have just been a whole series of like a TV show or something. There's so much stuff being compiled into this, and you from an outside perspective watching something like this, it's really hard to follow along and know what the hell is going on, let alone make sense of it. And I think that's just like, you know, a perspective that is often missed when people write stuff for the first time or they make content for the first time, is from an outside perspective, can people follow along with what is actually happening in the story? Because this is a little difficult with this. It is difficult. So our main guy eventually meets up with a group of unlikely heroes on the spacecraft. They end up teaming up through the rest of the movie to try to free all of humans and all other living beings in the galaxy. It's super hard to see what is going on because everything is so dark. And that's also just like literally and figuratively. Like the mood and tone of this is really dark, and it's also really hard to see what the hell is going on this screen. Like they clearly had some like very serious exposure issues when making this movie. There was a number of scenes where I just like had to stop it and go stand up next to the TV and turn up my brightness so I could see what was going on. Because man, this movie is dark. It is like really underexposed film dark. There are scenes that are just like, you can't tell what the hell is going on. It's like, please just turn on the fucking light. I don't know what's going on, but it is a huge detriment to the movie. As the movie goes on, our group of characters are first to fight some kind of like battle, kind of like, if you ever wanted to know what it's like to fight inside a Packard Bell computer in a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of scenario, that's what this feels like. Yeah. There's also this Tron scene that no one wanted, which is like them tossing around light leaks filters throughout the battle scenario. It just kind of goes on, and these are just like sub-stories. Again, very Star Wars kind of esque. They get captured, they're forced to do things. Like this plays out very much like Star Wars or a Star Trek episode. So there are some other scenes where they have lights that are turned on. They're just like blinking different crazy colors and wildly. It's like a club. I guess that's kind of the idea. It's very much like Star Wars or Star Trek. They're in some kind of space club and lights are blinking all over the place. It's just weird, and it's just poorly done. And there's also just like really poorly done CG and poorly done green screen through a lot of the movie, where everyone's kind of shot on like this flat plane facing them. It's not great. So something that's really cool about this movie though that I liked was the makeup was amazing. I mean, we literally had like 20 actors in this thing and done up in varying degrees of makeup, and it was pretty impressive sometimes, and sometimes it's really silly. I don't know what went into like building these creatures on this world, but the makeup was pretty successful in that fact and building out these characters. Some of it looked, like I said, silly and ridiculous when they're having conversations. And sometimes it looked really cool, and you could tell they spent a lot of time on it. It's just kind of all over the place. So they find this planet which has been lost for 5,000 years, and the whole story is they're following this like scrolls, ancient scrolls, to try to find this technology to defeat these guys and kind of take back the universe. Weirdly enough, they find this planet like that, and it's right next to another planet which everyone goes to all the time. And this is kind of the thing that happens. There's no like There's just like no correct pacing to this movie. Like it's just like you're flying around zapping things, you land on a planet, you get back up, you're flying around zapping things, you land on a planet, you get back up and do it again. Oh no, your spacecraft is out of energy. You land, you get back up, fly around somewhere. Still, that doesn't seem to matter anymore at this point in the story, but you can do that. But they get to this planet, they land, they find this special spacecraft, and they find this special power which only a human only a human can possess and run, which is, of course, the power glove. Am I right? Man, what better thing to use than a freaking power glove? Just makes me want to break out my old Nintendo and go at it. But it's pretty cool. He gets his power glove, and it's like adhered to him, and it shoots lightning, although it takes him a very long time to get it to work, and oftentimes throughout the movie, he's just kind of throwing his fists in the air in some weird manner. Silly stuff, but hey, that's what the director wanted, right? The other thing that happens is they find this monk in there who's kind of been protecting this energy and just comes with them for the rest of the movie, which makes no real sense. And good thing, because it turns out he's one of the only ones that can fly this organic spaceship around. And he does it pretty well. He's a pretty likable character. But again, it's just like, none of the story really makes any sense to why people are going or doing what they're doing, or why the dialogue that they're even saying is just like incoherent and makes absolutely no sense to me. But did I like it? Was it fun? Yeah, I did like it, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, let's take a look at one of the shootout scenes to give you a little idea of what to expect with this thing. There's this crazy montage scene because they realize when they get close to the end of the movie and they're like fighting back and like taking over planets that they have to speed this thing up because there's too much in it. This ridiculous montage scene where they're running around like zapping stuff and fighting and flying. It is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, but man, was I not clapping and cheering through it? Yes, I was. It was amazing. It was so bad it was good kind of scenario.
Slave colony after slave colony was liberated, each time liberating larger and larger colonies. As Aciris' abilities with the exoderm grew and grew. The only disappointment was that they could never find a colony of humans to fight alongside Aciris.
They clearly spent a lot of time on this. The fireworks at the end going off in the air over the city as they like come back and reclaim everything is just like next level amazing. The special effects were hot garbage, but they obviously spent a lot of time to build them. You could tell this was like a small team. I did really enjoy this. I really hope this guy makes some more movies because it was something. I've never seen anything like this, and you could tell that they were really influenced by Star Trek, like I said before, and Star Wars, which made it fun. And I think a lot of people would really enjoy this kind of content in a bad movie kind of scenario, which this was. And this was a passion project, you could tell. And when there's passion involved, it becomes enjoyable for the audience, which it was for me. So yes, I highly recommend this movie. I recommend you watch it with yourself. I recommend that you watch it with your friends. It was great. Man, it's really great to come back with something like this. Like, it could be really hard to find like good content in the sci-fi zone like this, and this is where I want to be. I want to be with stuff that's over the top. You don't know what's going to happen. Nothing makes sense, but you're along for the ride anyways because it's fun. And this was fun. It was absurdist and fun. I recommend it. Check it out. Oh, yeah. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that stuff. Become a Bad Movie Night patron. I'm telling you, it is worth it. If you follow the podcast, you tune in to a lot of our content, it is worth becoming a member. Very inexpensive. You can join the Slack. You can hop on, be part of the community. We do all kinds of cool stuff together. We just had the Bad Movie Night Awards. It is worth doing. Check it out at the very least. I assure you it'll be worth your time. Other than that, I guess this is it. I'm going to sign off. Yeah, I need to find some new science fiction movies that are good. It could be hard, though. It'll be hard. I'm sure we're going to find some stuff. Hope we're going to find some stuff. Who knows? 2023, right?